Especially this year for Inside Track TV, we're wrapping up the Autumn Colors Classic with the 2011 Limited Late Model Autumn Colors Champion, handsome Chris Mitchell. 2012 did not go the way you would have liked. You had a hot rod to start the event, but contact sort of set you back a little bit.
That's putting it lightly. 2012 was certainly not the year that 2011 was. Good to see you, by the way. I appreciate everything you've done for this event. Young racers have joined this sport, and you know, they're aggressive, they're good. I mean, we started 11th spot. Again, our car, we can't qualify this thing. I haven't figured it out, Spence, but when I get it going, the car in the longer runs is a rocket ship, and we started to get rocking in the feature there. Moved out to 4th or 5th spot, I believe we were running in, and got hit from behind, taken out by a bit of an aggressive move, in my opinion, way too early in the race. There was a lap car underneath me, so even if I hadn't been hit from behind, I don't know where the hell he was going to go. So kind of a bit of a disappointing way to start, and then I cut him down across the track, and when I came off the track and onto the grass, my left front air pressure was down so low it just pulled the tire right off the bead, had to pit, went a lap down, and then the rest of the story was I think a 15th place finish. So not the follow-up we were hoping for after last year's great show.
I know throughout the Limited Late Model pits there were some competitors, there were some murmurs that maybe race rust would affect this 22 team, despite, you know, with you not having been in the saddle as much as you probably would have liked to in 2012, but you came out guns blazing, you won a qualifying heat race. It didn't look as though there was any rust to your game whatsoever this weekend.
Well, same story like we've spoken of many times now, just about being here, track knowledge, a lot of laps around this place. It really helps. I mean, I was rustier than it may have first appeared. In the car, did not feel the way I wanted it to, so we struggled a little bit. Hats off to my guys, Mike Rusher, give us a good pit strategy to try and get things sorted out as we came back in and worked our way through the car. Today it came out okay, but this wasn't to be.
I love getting your opinion as a race fan, because you're a race now. I mean, you're a driver, but you're also a fan of the sport at the short track level. We were speaking off camera about the level of talent that was here this season in every division, particularly that limited late model class. I mean, this had to have been the best assembly of talent the limited late model field has seen in the last decade here at the Autumn Colors Classic.
Well, as a whole, like you said off camera, we spoke of it the other night. I'm not sure if the people in Ontario and the people that have watched this event recognize the talent that they have here, the show that gets put on. You hear some complaints the odd time, but traveling around to some of the other shows that we've been to together even, you cannot compare some of the talent field that's here. I mean, some of the racing you're going to see in Central Ontario or Eastern Ontario specifically is some of the best racing that you're going to see in the late model division around. Like you said, the talent pool available today, anyone in that top 10 that started this race could have been your race winner. It makes it exciting for the fans. You get younger guys that are involved in this sport now coming up through the ranks. You know, Caden Lapsevich is going to be a great example of that in Canadian motorsports, where we don't get to see the Chase Elliott's of the world or the Kyle Larsons of the world, who some people that came here to this weekend probably don't even know who Kyle Larson is, right? So the Caden Lapsevich is the kind of kid that you want to keep your eyes on as the years go forward, and that type of talent that you get to see right here in Ontario. I mean, at this level, it's you know, it doesn't get much better, in my opinion. It's what keeps the sport going. Now,
specific to this weekend, we just saw the Pro Late Model feature event, 112 laps in length. I think they ran somewhere near 150 laps just solely under caution. Contact laden, a very physical race. Rewind a little bit and you look at what the limited late models did with their 75 lap event. It was catch as catch can racing, very technical. The two divisions are so similar. Do you feel that it almost might be in the best interest of the Speedway to maybe swap the distances and let the limited late models go for longer and cut the Pro Late Model race short?
I'm laughing because it's funny. I made that comment sitting upstairs in the booth. I was two down from you watching from the inside tonight, and I'm shaking my head saying, what's going on? I mean, if you look at kind of the starting field that was in that late model event, it kind of makes me wonder why they were supposed to be the headline show. I mean, they get put last because of that. You know, it just turns into a debacle every single time, and I don't know if it's, I don't know. I can't explain what the difference is there. If it's the temperature or the aggressiveness or maybe too much power for an 8-inch tire. I've heard lots of guys complain about that. I honestly, I don't know.
If you were to put the two fields heads up, with you being unbiased, would it be safe to say that the limited late models had more talent this year than the Pro Late Model class did?
You put me on the spot, man. How am I supposed to answer that question? I can't comment for sure. I mean, the limited lates have their selected drivers, but we've never had the opportunity. I mean, look at a guy like Mike Bentley, right? It's in a limited late car. He's performed so well in those McCall Pro races this year that there's no reason to think why none of these cars could compete on a basis together, and as I proved today, a lot of it's just luck of the draw. I mean, I got caught up again in someone else's mistake, and it cost me dearly. So if you can avoid that stuff and you've got a decent car and be there at the end, then, you know, Brandon goes out with his super late, smokes everyone. You know, he had a great run going in the late model show, and look what happens there too. So to try and say that the talent of the driver themselves, they're all talented, but the external factors that come into play in a longer distance race is what keeps it exciting, and it's unpredictable. You can't. How do you account for that when you're trying to pick someone that could be better than somebody else?
Tell me about putting together this program for the 2012 Autumn Colors, because I know that it's not possible without copious amounts of support.
Well, like we talked about before, it's been increasingly difficult for me to run a full series of any sort, just with work commitments and everything else that I've got going on externally. You know, none of us are doing this as a profession in this level, so that stuff unfortunately comes first. So if I want to race, I have to take care of my other commitments. So the guys that do stick with me, I really appreciate their support, because it's on again and off again, and they're prepared to accept that as part of being a part of our team. So I really thank Earl Ireland Auto Sales. I like to, you know, guys that have been with me for a long time since Enduro Cars, Kawartha Metals, Kevin Thornbeck Construction, Race Toyota, Rockstar came on with us for this weekend as a one-time special event deal. I really appreciate Dan for doing that with us. You know, product support is sometimes just as much fun, or just as a big a help as it is getting a big check out of them. So I appreciate everyone's help for all that. Dan McCaddy Race Cars, I mean, I can't say enough about Dan, his talent, his quality of work. He's a great guy. He's always willing to field a question. I mean, we're struggling with our own car, and he's struggling with his, and he'll take time out of his program to answer questions for a guy like myself or Kelly. So I really appreciate Dan's help. I'm sorry for what happened to him this weekend, but again, that's just another example of how unpredictable the Autumn Colors can be and what keeps us coming back every year.
So the 2012 season is not quite at a close yet. You're still going to get the car loaded up. Let's talk about 2013. Have you looked towards the future as of yet, and where we might see this number 22 car?
It's very unpredictable for me, Spencer. I can't guarantee where I'm going to run it all next year. It's all going to depend on work commitments and everything else that's going on. I'm curious to see how things are going to unfold down at Kawartha with Derek Lynch's departure down there. That may affect car counts at other tracks if they can pick up some of the cars that Kawartha does not open. Great facility, great track. It'd be nice to see it going, and there's been some speculation of some special event stuff. If they can do that, I'd love to be a part of that somehow. If we can incorporate the limited lates in the field on just a run what you brum kind of basis, and get down there and be a part of that show. So you never know.
Let me ask you about the ACT-spec cars in Ontario. When things were good with the ACT-spec cars, they were phenomenal. Do you feel as though maybe that experiment may have run its course, and maybe the limited late models are the way that the industry is going in this province?
Well, when the ACTs were strong, it was at one track only. Between there and Ottawa's car count was off compared to what Kawartha was able to draw in. So the limited lates, in my opinion, have always been the preferable chassis, the preferable car. They've been much more popular at all the shorter tracks, between Sauble to Motorsport, Peterborough, to being able to have the limited late class at Kawartha even. So I'd be curious to see with an ACT-spec engine, with a proper 8-inch tire, make us weigh the same, run a couple of tests between a couple of the better ACT-style cars and us, and if we have to wake them up, make them competitive, and let's all run together.
Anyone else you'd like to thank for making all this possible?
I'd like to thank everybody that's here this weekend. I really appreciate it. My girlfriend Nicole and her family were here to support me today. My father, my sister, my mom, my mom's boyfriend, they all came together. They helped us out with some tire budget this weekend. Mr. Michael Rusher, I appreciate all the help that he's been this weekend, and even to JP and his family. I mean, they put on a great show. You know, say what you will about Peterborough Speedway, but this is a great event. It's run better every year. He actually does take a little bit of feedback, and it seems that he's kind of listening a little bit and makes it better and better, in my opinion.
There you go, folks. We're wrapping up 2012 with the 2011 Autumn Colors Classic champion. It's handsome Chris Mitchell. Chris, thanks so much for the time.